Okay. I should get my notes out, really.
Oh, I should get my notes out. Jesus, put my phone down for what? Sharpe's Command. Sharpe's Command.
Tell us
That is
what was we reading this week?
Sharpe's Command by Bernard Cornwell. It is a don't know what you would call the era. 1819, early 19th century. Early 19th century war novel.
I remember them saying something like 1790, something like that.
Yeah, so
is that
late
Napoleon's time?
Yeah. So late 18th century, early 19th century. So 1800s, I would say, 1790 to 1800s war novel, chronicling the adventures of a British officer called Richard Sharpe.
Yeah, just go on, show them.
Right here we have a copy of Sharpe's Assassin, which is not what we have.
But it's one of the books.
It's one of the books. I couldn't find the actual one.
Yeah,
this is new. That's why we're doing this, because it's new.
We're not going to give you a synopsis of the book because you should have read it already. And the beautiful thing about these reviews is that you can listen to them while you're reading the book, because we give you a point through chapter 1, chapter 2, blah blah blah, and then obviously when you can see we're getting to where you are in the book, you can stop so that we don't spoil it. So that's the beautiful thing about this. But yeah, overall, what do you think of the book?
I liked that it was brief. Because it was like, well, I'm familiar with this author, Bernard Cornwell. What he does is, his character, Richard Sharpe, pops up in 7 or 8 different novels. I believe it might even be more than that, in fact. But the vibe that it gives me is just like these little missions that he's going on, which is like episodes. It's much more of like a TV show kind of series where it's short, it's brief, 300 pages, wham bam, thank you ma'am.
One thing I did actually note that down, that I basically put... I don't know where I put it, but I basically said I like that this is a story within a story. It's not necessarily the whole war against the French. It's just one little battle. It's one mission. And I liked that it was kind of like short and concise and whatnot.
They made it really easy to understand as well. They made it make sense, like what the main characters are actually trying to do. They laid out.
Yeah. But yeah, as you know, we're gonna go through the points that we have, that we've written down, the things that we have. The problems we have with the story, and also the good things. So, the first thing I put down, I don't know if this is valid, but I said they were using language like bugger off. I said, were they using language like that in 1971? Oh, sorry, 1791? I don't know. I should have done some research to figure out if they are or not, but that's what stuck in my mind. I thought, I didn't know we were using every minute, bugger, this bugger, get the bugger, this bugger, and it was just like...
I have a similar point about that. It's not my first point, but we'll get to that. But I definitely think it didn't bother me. I didn't see it as an anachronism. Anachronism means when something is like historically out of place in like the mobile phone in the Middle Ages, things like that. I didn't really read as like an inconsistency to me, mainly just because I'm like, this is 1800s. This is like, we're getting up to Victorian London here. We're coming up on Victorian London soon. That seems okay to me.
And I thought
like,
it was the 1700s as well.
But we're talking about 1791. That's like in 10 years, 1800s.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's Queen Victoria time now.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get that.
So it didn't really seem like an anachronism to me or anything out of place to me chronologically or anything like that. But it did bother me the amount that the word was used in the book. Like, I did think, yes, officers will 100% talk like that. But
Shoot the
like,
bugger, get the bugger, these buggers.
And the thing is, it seems to be an all-encompassing curse word, not just... It seems to be... The meaning means what you want it to mean.
Yeah.
Like, bugger-all, bugger the fighter, or bugger that, or get the bugger, or like, it just means whatever you want it to mean.
I didn't
in so
mind.
many different contexts.
I didn't mind so much. And I think this book was thought-provoking. I don't think it meant to be, but there's a part in chapter 1, it said... I am Major, you are General, so you obey me. Give me your rifles, So basically, as you know, because you've read the book, the Spanish guy, El Hero, he basically tried to pull rank. And it just made me think about, even now, I was in cadets, and you would get sergeants and flight sergeants pulling rank on you for stupid shit, Oh, come here, get me this, give me your chocolate bar. And if we extrapolate that to the severity of war back then, all kinds of things probably were happening in the name of the Queen and country.
He says, traffic me them weapons. Now, run me my things. Run me my shit. My first point And my first point is a little bit nitpicky, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I've put the sheer numbers being referred to in terms of weapons, artillery, infantry, makes it hard to believe wars were actually fought in these days. In this day, I'm talking about pre-automatic assault rifles, fighter jets, yada yada. On account of the sheer inefficiency, armies had upwards of 300 or 400 men covering large swathes of ground on foot. They was going on foot. 400 men on foot to wherever the war is, walking. So during colder seasons, armies would literally just lose men just to the cold.
Oh yeah,
they would just die just from the cold. The fight hasn't started yet. The war hasn't started yet, and they're just dying because of the cold and the snow because they're walking.
Of course.
Like
Injuries,
the
starvation, horses, and stuff like that.
Any field cannons, heavy artillery, they gotta drag it manually, physically with their hands.
Yeah,
do you know how mad that is?
That's what. And it's funny. That's what I put in chapter 2. I'm enjoying the little details of war 150 years ago. Like the attacking army had to scout ahead to see if it's even feasible for them to lug hundreds of tons of equipment 100%. Across hundreds of miles. And it's amazing that sacrifices men made to protect their women and children, and we don't even know their names. You had people out there fighting, dragging this equipment. The battle ain't even started, as he said. Dragging this thing, and then to fight.
Doing the necessary work that has to be done for the war to even have a hope of being
crazy.
Successful. They said we don't even know if we can bring the guns there. Yeah, you gotta go and look and scout out. Was that Donnie that was love? I was like, bro, his job's mad. It's a thankless job. It's a thankless job. No one's gonna know your name. They're not gonna write your name in the songs and the stories. They're gonna write the Duke's name.
In chapter 3, Sharpe captured French soldiers. He damaged their weapons but didn't want to kill them because they were drafted just like he was. He called them conscribes. I don't think that's a wise decision because what, you're gonna keep them prisoner? You're gonna prisoner swap? Who knows? You're gonna set them free. I don't even think he was gonna. I think he was literally just gonna let them go, walk back to their camp, and it doesn't make sense for them to circle back to their base and then to be sent back out to kill him. I said no, sir. If it was me, I know it's easy for me to say in the comfort of my house in the warm and dry, but me, I'd do what needs to be done.
Needs to be done. Has to be done.
And I have no remorse or morals. I could steal candy from a baby. I lick cutlery in Nando's and put them back. Yeah, that's just mad. For no reason.
Yeah, that's mad. That's mad.
Just for no reason. Yeah, I have no remorse. Some men just want to watch the world burn, and I'm one of them. That's it. But in all seriousness, come on, it's in war.
You know you gotta do. You know your duty.
Deal with them. They came to kill you. Let's say you snuck up on them in their base and you just needed to overrun the place. But they came to kill you. Literally. So is what it is. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
Kill them first. Hey, literally, I heard a great quote one time. General George Patton. He said, "War is not about dying for your country. It's about making the other bastard die for his." That's it. That's all it is here. My next point is, it might be too early to say, but El Hero seems a bit ridiculous. He's an aggressively Hispanic deuteragonist. Deuteragonist means like secondary protagonist. So like advances the plot a little bit, but he's not the main guy. He's aggressively Hispanic. He drops one Spanish word in every 5 just to remind the reader that he's foreign and provides a form of levity and positive flair to the story previously only provided by Sergeant Pat Harper. So he's comic relief character other than Harper, there to just make you smile, make you laugh, kind of roguish. He just is a bit ridiculous.
Well, you should have listened to the audiobook like me because they were ripping
ripping
it. It was all. They had a Spanish, a Spanish accent, and it was really good. It enhanced it. Yeah, it enhanced it. I need to up my game with these reviews because I didn't really look at the purpose of each character like that. And when we get down to the end, I'll explain my actual opinions of El Hero. I'm not gonna try and we'll just call him El Hero. We're gonna get into but I didn't think anything of him at that point in time. I just thought because El Hero basically said, the French are coming tomorrow, and this, that, and the other, and it was just like he obviously seems untrustworthy. So why are you listening to him or anything like that? Literally. But I said, we see another example of bad judgment fueled by emotions. Sharpe said, I've never run from a fight before and I won't start now. And I said, that's quite a selfish decision to make, especially when mindlessly killing Frenchmen doesn't do any good. Their job wasn't to kill Frenchmen, it was to take over. It was actually just to scout. And basically, I think I don't remember what they did. I think they attacked the bridge or something like that, or something. The French were coming, and Sharpe said, "We're waiting for them. You know, we're not running or whatnot." And I just thought that was just you're a soldier. You're a leader. You're a leader. So, you know, you need to know when to run and when to stand and fight, and that wasn't the time.
100%. I think the thing about Sharpe is, what I noticed about this author is I genuinely think he's just having fun writing this novel. I think he's having fun. I think he's just writing a character that he likes, and a character that people can look up to and admire and aspire to be like Richard Sharpe. He's just the kind of guy. They describe him as, you know, brilliant, genius, best soldier in the army, but wayward. They call him wayward. They say like he's a loose cannon. He does what he wants, things like that.
But this is cliche, isn't it? It's cliche.
Very cliche. It is literally, it's just the type of main character that everybody wants, or should want to be, or should look up to or admire. And it seems like all these things about the inaccuracies of what an actual major would do in that situation. Because if major needs to run, he's going to run 100%. Like you said, majors, officers, they know there's a time to run, there's a time to fight, there's a time to stand. There's no such thing as an officer that's going to be like, I've never run from a fight. Those are the ones that get killed. I get their platoon killed as well. So,
and I guess maybe it makes the story better as well.
It is a story. The primary purpose is entertainment. At the end of the day, we don't want to
see
run. We want to see fight.
One thing this book was missing was a stealth mission.
Yeah, that would have been good. That would have been good. But to be fair,
under the cover of darkness,
I genuinely
couple throats slit.
Yeah, you know that's what I'm saying. No, 100%. Those slap. Those
you know, you're literally you're on the edge of your seat reading.
It's the slit throats.
Yeah. You know, you know what it is? It's the synchronizing slit throats. 3 people grabbing 3 assailants.
Bro, when they come out of the water.
Yeah.
Are you okay? It's different. It's different. Bro, imagine being one of the people you think it's just quiet. Oh, it's alright. We're changing shifts. No.
You know, there's always the guards that are drunk playing their games or whatever.
It's done. But the reason I think for that is, I think, like I said, there's other Sharpe books. I think he's done a load of those in probably some other books. He probably thought, let me come away from it.
Maybe. But I think we're not going to use that excuse.
We're not going to use that excuse because we're reviewing this
exactly. Not only do we not know.
We don't know.
But we're looking at this book specifically.
But interestingly, before you move on, the author actually said the reason he incorporated El Hero was because...
You ruined it, but yeah, it was supposed to be...
No. As in, the author literally said, his publishers said they wanted a Spanish character in there, and it wanted like a Spanish influence in there because they said their distributors are Spanish. They said you need to incorporate some... I just thought it was interesting. Like, he just
I wanted to leave that towards the end because, as I said to you, one of the ideas is people can listen to this as they're reading the book, but, you know...
That was just a thing that he said about it.
Yeah, but I wanted to...
It's not even in part of the story.
Yeah, alright. It's not. No, it's not. But you get what I'm saying.
Not really.
But okay, alright. Well, I'm not going to explain it for us to ruin it anymore. But I've put Sharpe. No. So still in chapter 3, when the French come for revenge, we see how the long-range rifles really are a coward's weapon. War has become increasingly more and more cowardly. You know, you can sit there and say it's smarter to sit behind a sniper rifle a mile away or behind a computer 100 miles away pressing buttons. But at the end of the day, where does that really get you? Once all the nukes are dropped and the technology has been destroyed and the planet, you're still going to have to engage in hand-to-hand combat at the end of the day. So maybe war should take place how they were back then, because it would save the rebuilding of infrastructure of the country that you've taken. So maybe we should just get soldiers and they should run at each other, because at the end of the day, after I push all my buttons and you push all your buttons and we run out of money, you know, or technology destroyed, we're still going to have to go in hand-to-hand combat. But the British really did have... I mean, I don't know how factually... I mean, this is a true story, technically. So, but yeah, you know, technology really does do it, because, you know, they had their muskets and the British had the rifles and they're picking them off, you know, from miles away. And it's definitely just...
Definitely coward's weapon.
You know...
But also effective, like I was saying before, the officers do not worry about who thinks who is a coward, because I might be a coward, but I'm also alive. You're dead. You're a brave dead person. Enjoy it.
This is the first time where I've started to, you know, I don't know about Sharpe. I like the character, but at a certain point, I'm scared of me, you know. At a certain point, I believe when you lean on morality for all your decision making, I see it as a sign of weakness. It's almost like God says I can't kill them, so you're unable. So it's like you're giving the decision to someone else because you're unable to make the decision for yourself. So when he took the soldiers and he thought, oh, you know, it's wrong. This is the way he thought it's wrong to kill them. You know, they're conscribes and this, that, and the other. But yeah, I put if you'd captured them in a fort, then that's different. You could potentially spare them. You know, you could keep them prisoner. But this is after the battle. They knew they were coming. They knew they were coming to kill him. Yeah. You know, and they lost. Butcher them. They had no feasible way to look after them. And from what I know of war, tough decisions have to be made. Look at the scene in The Imitation Game. Have you seen that film?
The one with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Enigma Machine. Have you seen the film?
I've seen. I haven't seen it.
The problem with you've seen every film, but scenes of every film. That's the problem. So he doesn't sit down and watch it. But in The Imitation Game, basically they had figured out the Nazis' code, right?
But they couldn't.
And basically one of the men who figured out the code, his brother was on the boat that the Nazis were gonna blow up, and he could warn them. But if he warned them, the Nazis would know. So you know, so the guy whose brother was begging and crying and fighting them, they had to hold him back. You know,
yeah, they had to.
They had to hold him back, and you know, we didn't see anything like that in this book. So we needed
to be made.
Yeah,
it's interesting because it prevents, like you were saying in the scene in The Imitation Game. I think I vaguely remember it because it was like they had a team. And they was working on an Enigma machine. Obviously, Benedict Cumberbatch, and they had a scene with I don't speak German. I don't speak German.
Yeah, it's very good film.
It's interesting because it presents a moral dilemma for the reader. It's like now you don't know who to root for. You don't know how you feel. It's like presenting a problem for you because you're thinking, obviously, I understand this guy doesn't want his brother to die or whatever. But I also understand the war has to be won. You can't throw away the war effort.
Exactly. And then I've put, still confused about Sharpe's moral compass. He ordered his men to kill the buggers. You know, the engineers, who aren't even soldiers. They're engineers fixing the bridge. Basically civilians. You know, he didn't say, aim for their leg or shoot them in the shoulder. That'll put them out of action or anything of that nature to delay them, which was the whole point. He said, kill the buggers. You know, and I've put, have you heard of Operation Paperclip? So Operation Paperclip was basically after the World War II, you know, after they discovered the German concentration camps, the mad scientists, you know, top German scientists, the UK went in to go and kidnap them because we need good scientists.
Literally.
And either we're gonna get them or the Russians are gonna get them.
Literally.
So the Russians went in trying to get them and we were trying to get them. And the point is, you know, this was a top secret mission because, you know, we shouldn't be getting these Nazis off because we're employing them and paying them good money. Literally. And they're evil people. Definitely. So it's the moral dilemma. Do we capture them and kill them and waste the talent and let the Russians get to the moon first?
Yeah, no.
So, you know, there's moral dilemmas in you know, in real life, and we didn't get none of this, you know. No one said, should we just not kill the engineers? Should we maim them or something like that? Which was interesting. Yeah.
Alright, so my next point is, I found Lieutenant Love to be a very authentic character at first glance. By the way, when in the audiobook, how do they pronounce lieutenant? Do they say lieutenant or lieutenant?
Lieutenant.
They said lieutenant. Okay, good. Because I would think that's an anachronism. Lieutenant is an Americanism. But yes, I found Lieutenant Love to be a very authentic character at first glance. As somebody who has some manner of familiarity with the intricacies of British military customs, I was in cadets as well, I find it very acceptable that the author depicts the majority of the lower ranking British officers, so lieutenants and captains, as not totally competent buffoons, basically, with family money that earn them a commission. That's basically what we see from the younger officers. They're like buffoons, don't really know what they're doing, expect total obedience. As he said, sergeants are the backbone of the army, was what Sharpe said in his internal monologue. So the lieutenant, or Cupid, as I refer to him, he doesn't seem stuck up, but he's self-important, remembers his sirs, remembers his moms. Even that scene where they see him praying, when they was taking care of business and this guy was there praying, like, he just seems like a self-important guy, and I think it was just so authentic the way that they did it, because if you spend time around British officers, you'll just know that that's typically what they're like. The hard as nails ones are the sergeants, and if they rise up to be officers, then they do. But the officers, the lieutenants, they're silver spoons.
I think it's weird how Sharpe has some hatred for El Hero. Even though that same Spaniard saved his life, you'd think he'd be somewhat grateful. And in the audiobook, the voice is like a strong Northerner's voice, like Ned Stark.
Oh.
And I can just imagine the guy saying, "Oh, you think I believe my life to be some precious thing?" Like, you know, how he says it in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But, you know, the guy said, the hero came back and saved his life, and he immediately didn't like him straight away for some reason, which was weird.
The thing about Sharpe is, I know what you mean when you say you're not sure about Sharpe, because he's not a real character. Like I said, he's not real. He's a character he's an idealist. He's an idea.
Yeah, but
he's
this
like
is
what
okay.
we're supposed to want to be.
Yeah,
He's
but
not real.
it doesn't matter if he's real or not. It's supposed to. The way I believe stories to be, it's supposed to seem real, isn't it? I mean, even if we get to fantasy, it's supposed to be realistic.
I know what you mean, and it is supposed to be. But what I mean when I say he's not real, in the same way that like some of the other characters, like Pat Harper, for example, he's a real character that's been written. Like he's got dimension to him. Like Sharpe is a kind of guy that just does. He just does whatever. Well,
as
he's always a good guy.
So when you started reading this book, you realised that some characters were real and some weren't.
No. I don't mean real as in real historical figures. I mean real as in realistically written. I don't think Sharpe is realistically written as a character. Like, I didn't really like him as a character.
You didn't like Sharpe?
I didn't dislike his personality, but I just didn't like how he was portrayed and like the things he does and the rationale he does. And it's just like, he doesn't seem realistic to me. He doesn't seem like a realistic character to me. So when things like that, like even when he was, kill the buggers, the engineers, like, that doesn't make any sense for you to do that. And then he was talking about, I'm not running. That doesn't make any sense for you to do that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that wasn't, I put in chapter 6, in the standoff against the Spaniard. Yeah. So I think he was hiding in the church or something like that. El Hero said he would let his men share Sharpe's wife. I mean, even the Sharpe and wife thing, that was a bit weird. It didn't really add anything. I didn't understand what that was about. You know, back in them days, women fighting as well. It was just, the whole idea of it was quite strange. But anyway, El Hero said that he would let his men share Sharpe's wife. And then the writer allowed a disgusting stereotype into this book. The stereotype that women are unable to control their emotions. Sharpe's wife disadvantaged all her fellow soldiers by breaking her cover and pointlessly firing her pistol at him. You know, they didn't know Sharpe was there. He didn't know, like, they were all trying to, barter and make a deal.
Negotiate.
And I said, why does the premise of rape enrage her so much? Surely she knows that's a given. That women in them days, in all of human history, I'm not saying this is okay or anything, but in all of human history, whether you're fighting or not as a woman, men are coming to take your land. Guess what's happening? This is known. It's known. Why is it? Why are you getting enraged by this? It was very strange. Yeah.
And another thing I think is interesting what you said about allowing a disgusting stereotype into the thing, because it kind of does with a disservice to the fact that it's even to the point they shouldn't be in the field because of that.
Well, I said, note to self: don't bring a woman to war.
That's what you're gonna get.
And it's not exactly. And she's the leader of her battalion or whatever.
If you want to be in the field, you have to do what's necessary. Yeah. You literally have to do what's necessary. You can never, ever let your personal feelings about something that someone said make you blow everybody's cover.
Hurling insults at him like some stereotypical Spanish woman.
Popping off shots as well. No, it's ridiculous.
Pointlessly. It's not even like she had a rifle and she took him out at 100 paces. The pistol at those ranges, they specifically said, was useless. So I was so surprised to hear that. There's another term that I think maybe I'm going over the top, but the term fixing bayonets. Listen, soldiers, they started fixing their bayonets. I think that is the most passive aggressive term I've ever heard. The fact that they're just doing it, and it's just you're just fixing a bayonet, but they're doing it for a very, very serious reason. But they're just doing it like, I'm just fixing my bayonet. It's just
what I like that, and the reason why I like that is because I know in the British Army, fix bayonets is a command, it's a field command. Fix bayonets, as in
it's about to go down.
Get that on there, literally.
But the whole point is, it's not like they walk with the bayonets on there.
You put it on to sweep, innit? You put it on sometimes to sweep through. If you're going through like grass or like high plants or whatever, you're sweeping through there. You're going through a cave or whatever, and it's gonna be close quarters, and you have a rifle, for example. Then you don't really want to be if it's close quarters.
Well, I genuinely think that the bayonets had a purpose back in the day when reloading took long, but when rifles became automatic, bayonets are pointless. Unless you're
definitely not as crucial. Definitely
all right,
near
I
as
tell you
crucial.
why they're not pointless. They're not pointless because if you run out of bullets, then you got something.
100%.
But other than that, it's pointless. 100%. I would rather shoot someone than.
But that's what I'm saying.
If you're juking someone, that your gun is now
disabled. Remember what you're saying about stealth missions. Sometimes you don't want to go loud.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. You still wouldn't even use a bayonet for that.
Maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't.
You would use a knife so you can get in their throat and just.
That's lift up.
That's what you
shaving,
want. Yeah, that's what you want. So.
Fair enough, but I did think I was impressed with the authenticity of the language in certain areas.
Even the weapons. It was like, 100%. I don't know what they were saying, but they were like, these are the ball bearings, and they put don't tap load and all of this. I was quite impressed with. 100%. It made me want to go. I want to go to the Imperial War Museum now.
Exactly. Do you know what? An interesting point. I said when I read a historical fiction like this, I want to be immersed in the year. I want to be immersed in the war. I want to fall in love with the era. I want to want to go to the Imperial War Museum and see the rifles, see the trenches.
And like I said to Joseph, after I read this book, because I was disappointed, and we'll get to that. I was disappointed. I had to go watch Saving Private Ryan just to, get the war scenes out of me, sort of thing. Are you going or am I going?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm going to skip one just because I'm going to come back to that. Here's another nitpicky part about El Hero. But do you know what is... I'm low-key realising a little bit. If I listen to the audiobook, I might have a different opinion of him. But I didn't really like him as a character. But anyways, El Hero seems to switch between perfectly legible English and broken speech that seems to be deliberately stilted for maximum comedic impact, especially in the early stages of the book. So like, he would say things, perfectly legible English, perfectly legible, and then out of nowhere, he'd be like, why I'm just like, bro, this is just racist. I want authenticity in the historical fiction novel. I want to be immersed in the time, in the country, in the war. I want to fall in love with the era. And the author did do that well in several aspects. But I just thought, specifically him and his language, the thing about using bugger, overused. It was overused. It's too much. It was funny at first. I
didn't find it funny
too
at
much.
all.
After, like how Jack Sparrow bugger, everyone laughs. It's funny.
Yeah, but he doesn't say it. He says it once or twice.
Exactly. That's why it's done well.
I didn't find bugger funny at all, but I didn't find it annoying either. It didn't bother me. As I said, I only made my point by it. But after, I'm gonna have to. I don't know if we'll have time, but I'm gonna have to try and get you to listen to a little bit of the accent because I think I think the narrator did a very, very good job. I don't know if whoever else has read it. I don't know if they're using the same audiobook as me, but yeah, I put the problem with this story is the same problem that all the stories everywhere have, with the exception of Game of Thrones. I know it. The good guys always win, with no painful losses. In Chapter 7, Sharpe dealt with the French, he only lost 2 soldiers, both of which wouldn't give a monkey's about. Not to sound morbid, but his wife was raped previously. Why did we not get to experience that?
I know
Wrong
what you mean.
terminology,
but, experience is not the right word, but we need to feel the loss.
The pain, the loss, we just skipped over that. That could have made...
content that you've robbed us of that.
Exactly.
You just robbed us of that emotional content. I want to be angry that something happened to Sharpe's wife. I want to feel that it's just when he kills them at the end. I want to feel that it's just because I feel the pain of what happened earlier. It's emotional content. 100%. Sorry, I was about to go.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
I'm confused as to why Sharpe's wife has a battalion of men. Judging by her non-existent leadership skills, coupled with the lack of fight scenes from her, they threw one in at the end, which was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous and cheesy in my opinion. But it's
okay.
Yeah.
Girl power, I guess.
I think maybe the book just went downhill after a while,
Yeah,
I think it just went
of the way through, I was just everything happened. It started very well. It started
right. Yeah, it started good.
60% of the way through, I was like,
it just started to and then you're like, yes, it's like the Sharpe's a superhero. Nothing can ever happen. Like he had many battles. I don't think he got a scratch. Going up the ladder, he cut up his hands.
Bro, I feel like the only injury I saw, other than that, this injury I saw was when man got shot. He got shot. The first sentence of the book was him getting shot. by that musket was Sharpe.
Oh, but
it was too far, and then it bounced off his leg or
but
whatever.
wasn't that a friend that shot him?
It was, but
something
it was
like that.
Yeah, but I was like, the first sentence of the thing was him getting shot,
yeah,
and I was just like, straight away. Our first introduction with him is Colonel Sharpe, bulletproof. That's our first introduction.
Yeah.
Sorry, Major Sharpe, bulletproof. So that's the first thing we find out about. It's bulletproof. That's it.
That's a good point. Go on.
Another case of officers being depicted as bumbling idiots. Lieutenant Love seems to take any opportunity to put his foot in his mouth, especially early in the story. First, when he almost reveals the plan to El Hero by accident, when he was like, "Why do you want that? Is your general coming here?" And he was like, "No." I was just like, "Bro, you're an idiot. How did you get promoted?" Secondly, when he tips El Hero after the fact that the Duke of Wellington, whose real name is Arthur Wellesley, aka AW, by the way, gifted Colonel Sharpe his telescope. And he was like, AW, surely that's not. Colonel Sharpe was like, big man, be quiet. Like, why are you talking? Did I talk to you? He said, did I ask you? But I thought it was overly harsh when Sharpe said it at first, but I'm beginning to understand what Sharpe meant when he said slit that guy's scrawny throat before he gets you all killed. Remember when he said that to Harper? He literally said slit Love's throat before he gets you all killed. Because he said, if I die, he's in charge. He's lieutenant. He's gonna get you not killed.
Wasn't Love the sharpshooter though?
No, he was wait, was he? No, I think he was the guy to scout them.
Yeah, so he was the one that was good with the rifle. I mean,
the rifle, was it Hagman? Was it Dan Hagman? Maybe. It might have been Dan Hagman because I know he's a rifleman. But anyways,
I said talking of Escalade. You know, I didn't know that was the term for it. I thought that was just what you do. You know, I mean, if you're attacking a castle, that's what you can't get through the doors. That's what you do. But that's the technical term. Escalade. You know, you put a ladder up against the wall. And I put it really does showcase the bravery of the men that have gone before us. D-Day is starting to make a bit more sense because in those days, charging at gunfire was normal. I mean, even when we saw, I can't remember what they called them, companies. They called them companies. It's what I'd call a battalion of men or whatever. Company was 150 men, 200 men. And they would just charge towards people shooting at them. So, you know, I always thought D-Day, why didn't they go around the side? Why did they run at machine gun fire? And back in the day, that's what you did. You charged weapons. You overrun and you ran towards them. Some are going to die. But
lots are going to die.
And obviously, back in those days, it was when reloading, you shoot one bullet and whatnot, and reloading took an age. But obviously, as automatic machine guns came in, we don't charge anymore.
To be fair, they had automatic machine guns in D-Day. They still charge.
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying. Because automatic weapons, they didn't have automatic weapons in World War One. Or the Germans might have just towards the end of it manufactured something, but I know for a fact the British did not have automatic weapons.
Yeah, that was like 1914. No,
yeah. So that's why warfare changed. So now we would never do something like that. Imagine telling people, "Oh yeah, do you know what the plan is? We're gonna run at machine gun fire. We're just gonna send a couple thousand of you lot in, see what happens." You know,
and not even that. They said you lot are going in first.
But this is what I don't know how. I mean, even you know. I don't know how to reveal these things, so we're just gonna leave it. But we'll talk about that after. But yeah, I literally said I don't know how you order a man up a ladder to his death without going yourself. Yeah. You know, how do you say how do you decide? And this is part. I've put this further down. I think this is what I've said. I think we've missed an opportunity for a ritual. We missed an opportunity for a ritual or a game of luck to choose who's going up the ladder first.
That would have been
It could have been a nerves invoking moment.
Yep.
It could have been character building, similar to the film Saving Private Ryan when the boys are on the boats vomiting or whatever. It could have, they could have, I don't know, drew straws or whatever they did back in the days. You're going up first. You know what I mean?
You should try writing this. You're good at this. That would have been a really
that would have given us something.
And that would have showed us that each man in the team cares about everyone else because it's like someone's got to go.
Yeah.
Somebody has to go. Obviously, in a perfect world, nobody has to go.
Yeah.
Someone's have to go. It's not a case of, yes, brass ordering the rags to go. It would be a case of we're a team, draw straws, dies, anything. It would have been
because I mean, you as an officer, how do you tell a man, oh yeah, you 10, you're going up first?
Yeah, literally, you man are dying.
I think it would make sense. It would make sense if they used the prisoners and said, boy, look, we're gonna kill you, or you got to go up the ladder first. Something.
You might live.
You know what I mean.
Die if you stay.
That's like, how else do you? Because I mean, I would rather desert. Do you know what I mean? If you're a soldier, I'd rather. If you're gonna send me out the war, I'd rather desert. You put me in prison, at least I have a life, sort of thing.
Literally. And even if they say on pain of hanging, like, bro, I might get caught. I'm defo dying if I got Do you understand?
Yeah,
what I'm
no.
saying?
If they say you're gonna hang me, then I'd have to go up. I would
What's
have to
hanging
get...
that the
Yes.
prospect of hanging that dick.
What's the point? If you're gonna get hung, you're going to die anyway, so you might as well go up.
You're gonna die if you go up, though. You're gonna die now if you go up. You're gonna die now. Your time is here.
You think you might be able to talk your way out of the
Your
hangman?
time's come, bro. Your time's come. Your time has come.
You might be able
the
to make
Grim
it.
Reaper is
You
knocking.
might, no, you might be able to make it.
You can take that chance. I'm deserting.
But I'm glad Sharpe went up first. But again, we get the feeling that Sharpe is indestructible. In no way am I worried that this isn't going to be a happy ending.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Remember what I said, not talk about another book for a second. Remember what I said about the last book? Literally, it's ridiculous. Mary Sue, this is Gary Stu. This is the male version of the Mary Sue. He's invincible, he's indestructible, he's bulletproof, he's super strong, he's 6 foot, he's got a scar on his face. Like, bruv, he's everything. Women want to sleep with him, men want to beat him. That's it. Just say that. Say that. It's easy. He can't die. He's immortal.
Yeah. And I put... You probably need to say one after this. But I said, why is it only the French have conscribes? These young boys who aren't war ready. The good guys seem very cliche, macho, which is very two-dimensional. There could have been scenes where they were scared shitless. On the ladder, for example, you know.
Yeah.
They could have been worried, shaking, nerves. There was none of that. It was just like, yeah, we're going to war. Boom. I don't sleep. You know, everything is like super duper macho. It's very two-dimensional. There's no feelings.
It definitely was. It definitely was. In that specific situation, I think it was warranted in that specific situation because that's what you want. That's what you want in those situations. You got these guys that stay frosty. You want the guys that are gonna remove the emotional content, are gonna focus on getting the job.
Yeah, but there's nothing
focus
wrong.
on the next
Yeah, but
task.
there's nothing wrong with having a couple of those guys. But it also makes the reader feel more nervous when other people are getting nervous. It makes it feel more real.
It definitely
you know, as I said, it could have been more 3D. As I said, look, Sharpe's got no fear or emotion towards his wife or war. There was pity at times, right, for the people because he spared some people's lives and whatnot. But he could have been cold on the outside and been more 3D inside. He could have felt fear. You know, he could have had butterflies because he's going to war. There could have been phrases like he could have given a speech. He could have given one of those invoking
Captain America speech.
No. There's Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones speech. They could have given that.
In the court.
He could have said stuff like, "The only time a man can be brave is when he's scared."
Yeah,
they could have done. They could have done.
To be fair, that would have been arguably just as cliched, but at the same time, we love that.
It's true.
As readers, we love that. As viewers, we love that. We want to see that. I want that Optimus Prime Captain America speech. Bro, when I saw Optimus Prime in that speech, I tried to run up to go to the screen. I was in the cinema. I tried to run to join it. Oh, assemble! Nah, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
We didn't get
how did we not get a war speech?
Yeah, nah.
How did we not get that?
One thing you want is a speech. Independence Day speech. Give me some of that.
How did we not get a war speech? I didn't even write the notes down. But what? That's mad.
My next point is Sergeant Pat Harper is as aggressively Irish as El Hero is aggressively Hispanic. I have very nitpicky points.
We got the Irish. I got the Irish accent in this one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
See, I definitely need to listen to the audio.
It's very, very good.
It seems like it enhances the story a lot because it would probably take my rate. You'll get my rate later, anyways. But every third or fourth thing Pat Harper says seems to reaffirm his nationality to the reader. Like every third or fourth thing he said, "Oh, God bless Ireland," or "God save Ireland," or whatever. He's everything, and even his name, Pat Harper. Like Harper everyone knows it's an Irish name. It's a classic Irish name.
Maybe he was the first one.
St. Patrick's Day.
Maybe he was the first one.
Maybe he was the first day, but we're talking, what is this, 1800s?
Yeah, he's the first one.
No way this guy was the first one. There's no way. They may as well have called him Paddy Murphy. They might as well have done that, because his whole identity is him being Irish. And this
is why it's interesting for us to get both sides, because he reads, I listen, and, I thought it was fine because he was Irish, but because I had the Irish accent, but in the book, the author has to really try and drive home to you that he is Irish. So it's the Irish.
But why though?
I don't know. He's trying to make it. Yeah, but he's trying to make it 3-dimensional.
Why is it why is his nationality so crucial to his character? Why does it have to be apparent in every scene?
Because that is, people's what do they call it? Culture is their person. It's their personality.
I get
a lot
that.
of
It's
times.
part of it. I get that's part of it. But I'm just saying things like
It wasn't
God Save
necessary.
Ireland. I'm not gonna forget he's Irish. You don't need to keep.
It was him. It was the Irish guy. His name's Pat he was the sharpshooter.
That's what I'm saying. I know his name's Pat Harper. I know he's Irish from his name. So you don't need to keep saying.
I think this one is definitely very, very picky. I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with that.
It seemed forced to me, but El Hero was the exact same thing. It seemed forced to me, like his speech. It just seemed forced.
I felt El Hero was more forced than Pat Harper, and you know.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
But I put chapter 9. Yep, once again the British are invincible. They could have given us a somewhat important character's death on the British side. That would have taken me completely by surprise. Oh, you know what would have taken me by surprise?
What?
I don't know who it was. He was so passionate about the cannons. You know, once they've taken the fort, and I think it was Sharpe's boss. I don't know. He turned up.
The Hill guy. What Hill?
I don't know his name, but he was talking. He was in love with the cannons, and he was like, "Oh, I do wish I had British powder," you know. And he was going on a spiel. He was going on a spiel about, "Oh, let's wet the cannons up and put them in." And he's talking. He gave it a name, Martha, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And then they were. And then what happened? They were so he was taking pleasure in firing the cannon, and then they were attacked by riflemen on the other fort.
Yeah.
That could have been a perfect opportunity to kill him, kill the guy,
100%.
and that would have shocked us, you know, because bullets came out of nowhere. But of course, everybody survived. And it was just like,
invincible. But this goes back to my earlier point about the author is having fun. He doesn't want to traumatize himself. Because like I'm a writer, right? I know. When you write and you craft these characters, sometimes when the prospect of killing them, it's not trauma in the sense of trauma's actually happening.
I think it
but
is.
it traumatizes you a little bit. It's a case of
you
feel like you're losing
Yeah.
somebody. You feel like you're losing a friend, and he doesn't want to do that. He's having fun.
Well, I want to know who's their target market is, because I wouldn't say it's children.
Nah, it's definitely not children.
Because it's a bit gory.
It's a bit gory, and there's mentions of rape and things like that.
I wouldn't necessarily. Would you say it's 18 plus though?
I would say young adult. Young adult. Because like 17, if you're 17, let's say you're 17, like, bruv, you can hear about rape. You can hear about it. If it's not depicted, you can hear about it. So I would say young adult.
So definitely not adult.
I think
maybe
perhaps
because of the
because
war side.
Perhaps because the target market. If you write historical fiction, your target market has to be people who are interested in a war. Has to be. Because you're missing out. If it's not, you're missing out on a whole.
Is any women reading this book?
Doubt it. Doubt it. See, before with the other book, The Fourth Wing. Exclusively
50-50.
women. I said if I said heavy women.
Yeah.
I said 70-30 heavy women.
Yeah.
This men definitely. No women reading this.
Yeah, and I thought friendly fire could have been added in to the realism. You know, so someone shot at Sharpe while he's on the ladder.
Yeah, no, that is a good point, to be fair. And the thing is, it has to be friendly fire with costs. It has to be with costs, because that happens. Especially these. I mean, like, it can't be like in the beginning scene where it just bounces off and it's like...
No. I'm talking about proper
friendly fire. Proper.
Because I'm talking about, like, someone misses their shot while people on the ladder going up, You know what else I would have liked in there? The first person who's gone up the ladder... he could have like freaked out or something and just been frozen stiff, and there could have been a scene of a morality questioning scene where one of the riflemen have to shoot his own man and say, "Boy, you're holding up the ladder and everyone's dead," sort of thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Do you know what? I think a lot of your points come back to the thing of it just was not enough loss in there. You didn't make me feel enough.
Yeah,
the book really did not make me feel enough. Like, I liked a lot of things about it. I liked the authenticity. I liked like how they kind of immersed us in the war, but we needed more.
And also escalate. They did an escalate. They scaled the war, and they didn't have any heavy losses. That's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah, I'm telling you, the police could kick off this door. You give me a gun, I go upstairs in the window. They're losing people. They're losing people, bro. Yeah, no, it was too, British.
But that's what I said. Garys do. Like, they're invincible. They have got plot armor. That's what they have. They have plot armor. They're invincible because the plot needs them to survive. Therefore, they
Well,
can't be-
clearly, because now we're at the end of the book, and
Yeah.
you find out that Sharpe and his wife weren't real people, you know. And I said that's all the more reason they should have been killed, you know.
Literally.
The wife definitely should have been killed.
Bruv,
Like,
the wife shouldn't have been in the story. I'm gonna say that now. The wife shouldn't have been in the story.
no, you know who definitely shouldn't have been in the story? El Hero.
Yeah,
Now that I know he's in real, we find out he's not a real character. I'm like, what was the point of him? Like, what was the point of him? I'm thinking to myself,
it was them distributors. They said we want Spain in there. Get him in there. Get him in. Sort it out.
Yeah, but
Get off and get him in.
yeah, but his whole point, there's nothing wrong with having the Spanish in there, but he was just some random bandit. Like, that was.
He
on
seemed
this
so
side.
important. He seemed so important
he was
in the
just
story.
he was just so pointless.
He
But
seemed
the
so important.
straightening of facts, chapter at the end, ruined the book for me. Finding out that El Hero wasn't even a real character made me realize the futility of his whole character. But you know, the fight scene at the end. Let's get to the fight scene with the wife and
the wife
and the El Hero. It was just like, what is this about?
I was like, but you know what it was? It seemed like it comes back to what I said. The writers having fun. What did I say?
That's just so cheesy.
It's so
I need
cheesy.
to take him myself. We need to make him fight harder. No,
and it was a kind of thing where I was just like he tried to shoehorn in something, a little bit of shock factor where she slices him like in the balls or whatever, and I was just like, bro.
I felt that one though.
I felt, of course, every man felt that. And listen, you know who you are. Every man felt that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could tell it was shoehorned in just because we needed a little shock factor at the end, because it was like you can't end the book like how it was gonna end.
Just him taking the castle.
Just him taking the castle. Like, it was ridiculous. It'd have been ridiculous. But it's definitely true that for 60% of the book, I think the suspense was built very well. Then it plateaued. Then it just went down and it never came back up. And that scene was it trying to come back up, and I just don't think it worked really well. It was just a bitter note to go out on.
I put the intricacies of what's a tannin?
Tannin in like terms of wine, like tannin.
No,
What did you put?
I don't know. I put tannin. I don't even know. I feel like it was something in the story.
Do you do text to talk again?
Maybe, but I feel like it's something. I'll have to reread it. But yeah, the intricacies of the rifles and the muskets were explained in great detail, which I liked, as I said before. Many soldiers were wounded, but the first aid and surgery practices of 19 whatever was completely ignored. There was no, they didn't speak about that at all, which would have been, it would have brought us into the world a bit more. And it would have brought some historical context, first aid and surgery on the battlefield, that would have. I
want to see some like pouring brandy into wounds, things
I
like
wanted
that. I want to see some of that.
This could have been a history lesson of what they did. And I put Sharpe went through various physical confrontations and sustained no injuries. This book, my rating is 5 out of 10.
Fair
it has whet my appetite for a proper war story.
Fair. That's a fair rating.
Would I recommend it? No. If someone said, "Oh, I want to read it," I'd say, "Yeah, go on." I mean, you're not losing anything. Would I pay for it? It wasn't bad.
It definitely wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It started very well, and it definitely got me interested into the story. I was literally like,
you know what I'd say?
What?
I'd say if you're a type of person who likes fantasy and you want to broaden your horizons or one thing, it's a nice little entry level film
into like historical fiction.
Yeah, it might get you into war films,
100%.
sort of thing.
100%. I think that's a fair rating, to be fair. One of the points I wrote that I forgot to read, honestly, a lot of these are very nitpicky, but I put the schismic divide between sergeants and officers holding the King's Commission is made ever present when El Hero calls Major Sharpe a fake officer. I called him fake on account of his prior status as a sergeant, which one of the things that
sorry, you're going to have to start that point again.
Yeah, I put the schismic divide between sergeants and officers that hold the King's Commission is made ever present when El Hero calls Major Sharpe a fake officer. Called him fake on account of his prior status as a sergeant, which I've said this over and over again, but I genuinely feel like the author's depiction of the authenticity of like the customs in the military was very, very, very good. It was one of the things I really enjoyed. One of the things that was very accurate was how much contempt the officers have towards the sergeants, and El Hero is no exception. Like, he genuinely told him to his face, like, he literally said, "Bro, you're fake, you're fraud." And in those times, it was literally like believed that you was born to lead. You was either born to lead or you was born to follow. And he said, if you was an infantry, if you was a private, corporal, sergeant, anything like that, you was born to follow. If you was grown to lead, you went to the military academy, you come out, you start at lieutenant. You was born to lead. You was born for that role. Like Lieutenant Love, he's born for that role. He's born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And it was just
it was a case of classes, as you said before. If you're the son of this man, and you're coming in as a general.
Like, bro, if my dad's an earl, my dad's a duke or something like that, you can't tell me about private.
But, I mean, in a way, I mean, I think it kind of still happens in this day. I mean,
100%. The Royal
Military
Academy, Sandhurst.
But, I mean, 100%. You know, you have... It does make sense because, I mean, look, I'm going to read a book about Napoleon after this because it's kind of like whet my appetite for that. But... You know, you have people like Napoleon. I don't know. Did he work his way up or did he just start as a general?
I think he worked his way up.
Oh, did he?
I believe he worked
Well, I would have said, he
Don't
brought different... I thought he didn't work his way up. He started as a general and he brought, different tactics in and stuff like that. But yes, what did you give this book as a rating before we wrap this up?
So I'm not agreeing with you, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Just so I'm not copying your rating. But I do think your rating was fair.
Yeah, but the thing it's funny.
Just feel like I said, I felt like it started really well. But really got the readers engaged into like what was going to happen, and then plateaued, and then just went like this.
The last book we read, I enjoyed more than this book, even though I had more problems with the last one.
I had vastly more problems with the last one.
But it was a lot longer. It was about 4 times as long. It was about 4 times as long as this.
Oh no, it was much longer. This one was very short. It was much longer. I'm gonna agree with you that the last one was better. The last one was better. The
way you ripped into that book.
I did. But the thing is, the reason why I said the last one was better, one, is because it didn't have it had a great ending as opposed to this had a disappointing ending. When you go out on a bitter note, you can't tell me about the last thing I remember of this is literally like, is that it? Is that how it ended? Is this how we're going out? But
you remember the last bit of the last one?
2, what, as in the memory stealing bit, or
oh,
you mean the Welcome to Rebellion?
Yeah, Welcome to Rebellion.
And it kind of set up the next.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe I was harsh. But at the same time, the last one also had more quality and more content. And more, like you said, it was longer. Had more content. There was more to get into. Like, bro, by like chapter like 10, you're like, bro, it's ending in like 3 chapters.
Literally.
And it's like, bro, I don't know where it's gonna end. I don't know what we're gonna do. There's not enough time to do anything that I want to see.
Literally. But
I'll give it 6 out of 10. 5.5 if I'm allowed to do that.
But it was a story in a story, innit?
It was a story within a story. It was a mission. It was a mission story. It was like, this is a story of the mission. They're gonna achieve the mission, and that's it. And we knew that going in. It wasn't gonna fail the mission.
Yeah. All right. Well, we need to be a bit more organised moving forward so that we can have the next book and say it to people.
No, honestly.
That's what we need to do, is we can say it.
I told you what I think it should be anyways. But
what is it?
Chalice of the Gods. You should. Because you know why I think that? Because
by who?
Rick Riordan, Percy Jackson, Chalice of the Gods.
It
was your idea, in fact, but the reason why I think we should do that is because that's what it was, because you couldn't get it on audio.
Maybe I can. Honestly, the problem is I can read, guys. It's just I'm a lorry driver by trade, and I listen to the audiobooks while I'm driving.
Which is why he always finishes the books first. I'm a bartender. Like, I can't read at work. I mean, I could try, but I'd get caught. But
no, you could listen to an audiobook at work.
What, just have like a little AirPod
that's what I do.
Like, on the sly.
What's it called? The Chalice.
Yeah, Percy Jackson, Chalice of the Gods. And it's not only is it Rick Riordan's newest book, it's also, there's a Percy Jackson TV show hitting Disney Plus in December. What's it now? October. This is coming out in like a month. This is directly relevant. This is why I feel like we should do it.
Well, we've got a month to do it.
Got a month to do it.
Because, once it comes out, because I haven't got it. But yeah, we're going to have to just let you know in the comments, in the description, what we're reading next. Or you're just going to have to keep your eyes peeled.
Find out when we find out.
So yeah, till next time.